yes, Anthony, I am wearing wired headphones. And Blake and I, oftentimes we actually agree with each other. I think we like to think we disagree, but we typically are aligned. And
true.
One thing we definitely align on is wired headphones are significantly better than Bluetooth headphones.
100%.
Blake 100%. Has Bluetooth headphones on right now.
Well, we're talking more so for gym type activities,
right?
Or like just around the world activities.
Yeah, walking the dog, I go wired. I go
Bluetooth,
wired.
They always are dying. You can't ever keep up with them because they're like 3 separate pieces of equipment.
True.
They really don't. These sound so much better than $200 earpods. Like I would put that on anybody's ears and be like, "Tell me which one sounds better." These are $20 from Apple.
Or at the very minimum, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, at the very minimum. But these are way louder. I have to actually turn them down. My earpods are always at max volume.
Yeah,
I just can't fuck with in-ear headphones. Like I can't.
For the most, I can't wear them for a long time.
Too.
Yeah, little baby ears.
I have baby ears, little tiny ears.
Even I wear Beats over ear in the gym, and they're wired. But I'm the same way. Like I like over ear better, and they completely block out the sound. Like same thing, Trey. When I wear AirPods, I have to have them all the way up, and like when I have my Beats, it's like I don't know 3/4 of the way, and I can't hear anything around me.
Wired headphones sponsor us.
Any brand. Any fucking brand.
I agree.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the last pup date. It is here because the babies will be going to their forever home soon. Now, the pup I am about to show you is one of our 2 unclaimed pups.
So if you are
in the market for a golden retriever puppy, we have
in Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. We have plenty down here. We got plenty.
He's a very sleepy boy.
Sleepy boy. Dude, those dogs are getting so much bigger every week.
Yeah, and
he's flexing over there. Blake's flexing.
He's 10.1 pounds. So the vet told us, actually, speaking of how big they are, the vet told us that they are 2 weeks ahead of their growth, so that they're way bigger than they're supposed to be. And she was like, those dogs are going to be fucking huge. Yeah. So
hell yeah.
Be prepared if you guys want a dog from me in Colorado.
Lazy golden.
Yeah. So he's a sleepy boy. I think he feels unincluded because he doesn't have a collar. So he kind of isolates himself. It's really sad.
Oh, buddy.
He feels left out. So
you guys need... collar signifies like importance and a hierarchy.
He's like, I haven't been taken. This is bullshit.
That's definitely in a Disney movie somewhere. It's one of the older ones. Yeah.
I also finally bathed all of them yesterday because they were disgusting, and now they're so clean and so fluffy and so nice. They smell great. They look great.
Get a whiff of that breath. Yeah, there you go. Get a whiff of that breath, Blake. Since
I know you were stressed about the puppies, but how do you feel now that we're at the end of the journey? Are you glad that it happened?
I miss my sleep because all 7 of them wake up at 6 a.m. and they're all very loud. And most of the day they sleep, but when they're not sleeping, I let them out. I have a sectioned off area where they can run around and play. And it's a lot of work, man. Part of me will miss them, but part of me is glad it's coming to an end. But I'm glad that it happened and learned a lot about dogs, learned a lot about puppies, and they're going to good.
That part.
They're going to good homes. Even one of them's going to a vet tech, so they got somebody that's really going to take care of them. So I'm excited.
The same question I have for you, Blake, is: did you learn about the birds and the bees and what happens when you let dogs that are intact hang out together?
First off, that was you. Let me get Amanda on here, and you can ask her that question because I was never confused about that. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna go take him downstairs and grab a seltzer water, so you guys can fill the space.
Oh, seltzer water.
We should have started like a segment for this. This should have been like a
This is our segment.
Trey and Anthony talk shit about Blake for 10 seconds to see how much they can fit in while he's gone.
Oh, well, I mean, we already know his dogs keep multiplying, so check on that, right?
Doggies don't die, they multiply. Doggies also die.
They do, unfortunately. Yeah. But they're with us for as long as they are, and we celebrate every moment.
Speaking of a dog that's never going to die, let me tell you something about this man right here. He has been the most legendary dog this week.
Like,
oh yeah. Other than
on the road,
just on the road. Dude, he's the best road dog. He just chills. He'll come and put his head on my shoulder, like at the most perfect times. Like if I'm just like, God, I'm tired, and then all of a sudden he just pops up, puts his head right on my shoulder,
and you can't ignore it. I mean, he's literally another human being there.
Each other. Yeah, it's great. I
feel that. Well, that's the beauty too of having one dog is that like that bond is concrete.
Yeah.
You know.
Just so you know, you can't do the talk shit about Blake segment because I take the headphones with me because they're not wired.
Talk shit about Blake because he can't talk back, at least till he gets to his microphone.
Makes it even better.
Right, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Trey, and Anthony. And today we are reviewing the Off-Season by J. Cole and The Italian Job, which was the Trey movie pick. And just a little tease. I've decided that we're going to stick with the heist theme for the next movie because I have next movie pick, correct?
Is it Baby Driver?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I thought I had the next movie pick, but maybe I'm mistaken. But I was planning on going with that theme. But
really?
Yeah.
So either one of us.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I picked the Off-Season. Anthony and I did Born Center a while back. I was very surprised at how much Anthony liked it. So it seems like a rapper that Anthony connects with in a way. And this, to me, is much later in J. Cole's career. It's his second to most recent album, and a lot of great songs on this. I know Trey's a big fan, and I think it really shows the progression going from Born Center to this album, kind of where J. Cole has been and how he's matured subject-wise, flow-wise, production-wise. So I really, really love this album. I'm excited to talk about it, but let's start it off. Anthony, how did you feel about it on first listen? Give us a rundown.
Yeah. So just a flashback, we did Born Center, right? And that was my first time ever hearing J. Cole in a completion standpoint. So this would be my second take on J. Cole. And this one, I was not as clear as I was with Born Center. This one, I've listened to it.
I kind of expected that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I listened to it a couple times. The first listen, I was just trying to get my bearings, and nothing really stood out to me like, holy shit, this is amazing. And nothing really turned me off like, I got to go to the next track. So a lot of right down the middle kind of indecisiveness with me. But again, the third listen, or at least the third conscious listen of looking at lyrics while they're being played, it shines more light on it. And I think, again, like that is when you have artists like J. Cole and Kendrick too, and other guys, I mean, not to put them in any echelon or any platform, but to say that these guys, their rhymes can sometimes be hard for me at least, to understand what they're going for or what they're trying to put out there. But reading back really does shine a light. It's like poetry, I mean, and I'm not trying to platform people, but to say there's deeper meanings to these lyrics. But I will say there's some parts that I was like, holy shit, I'm in. And then, like I said, other parts that I'm like, all right, I can see there's something to be learned here or something to dive into. It's just going over my head at the moment. But but overall, not a bad listen. So you're not going to get a lot of hate. You're not going to get a lot of praise, maybe some questions, but really more interested in hearing y'all's experience with this and kind of going back to it, because I think it might have been a minute since y'all had heard it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I listen to it pretty regularly. I don't know about you, Trey. What about you?
Yeah, I would say semi-regularly. Not like all the time, but maybe once in a couple months type of when I get on a J. Cole kick. Oftentimes when I start listening to J. Cole, it's one of those guys that I don't really stop listening to. And I always end up back at the same place, which is For Your Eyes Only, because I think that's his best album.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, it's my hot take. I think that album is like...
That's a really hot take.
I know it is, but I really, really like it. It's not track to track the best album. Like, it's definitely not his best. We can get into this later because I want to talk about this towards the end more so. But it's just like conceptually, dude, it's so sick. And like the big reveal at the end that it's someone like recording this tape to leave for their like when they die to their daughter, and it's like J. Cole's best friend. It's sick. I can talk about that all day.
Interesting.
But as far as like off season goes, I had a really hard time reviewing this because, dude, these songs are just like so good, and it was hard to like go through and pick a top three. It was hard to pick I only got two bottom ones. I'm gonna go let you guys know I broke the rule. All right. I broke the rule. Whatever.
Okay. Fair.
But lastly, man, put my boy J. Cole in the league. Like, what's going to happen? What's that? What bad could happen?
What are we talking about? In basketball?
In the NBA? Yeah, he's a really good basketball player. Not like, he's not an NBA basketball player. He's a good basketball player.
He played in a Canadian league for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
do they not Did he not play with your boy Shabuzi in the All-Star game? Is that
No,
like
he
too
didn't.
much?
He has before.
Yeah,
he has
in the
before.
All-Star game. Yeah.
But yeah, that we made. I don't know if I've made that joke with Trey on the pod, but like it's so clear that J. Cole wanted to be a basketball player instead of a rapper because all of his intro mixtapes are Friday Night Lights, the warm up. What am I missing, Trey? I can't remember.
Shot or something like that.
They're all basketball themed, and he's
Coach,
always
I need a water break. That album's really good.
Yeah, so it's very clear he wanted to be a basketball player. Quick factoid, Trey. One time I borrowed Trey's Honda CRV, which was originally Carly's.
Runs on fun, baby.
To go to Bonnaroo a year that I worked, and it was the year that I worked pre-show, so I was there for a week, and it had no aux cord, and a massive thunderstorm rolled through probably I think Monday night. So I sat in the CRV, and For Your Eyes Only was one of the only CDs in there, and I literally drank beers and just listened to it on repeat, just over and over
only
again.
like 40 minutes long, too, so it just looped.
Yeah, until the storm passed. So, very fond memory. But yeah, I mean, I've already said a lot about the offseason, but I think it's one of his best albums in my opinion, and was really impressed with it when it came out. Still really impressed with it, and it was nice to revisit it just front to back again. But it was easy and difficult in the sense that, like, I already know what songs I love from it because they're the songs that I listen to consistently. But yeah, same thing with picking bottom tracks. It was tough for me. But before we get into top tracks, Anthony, what questions did you have? You said you had some questions.
I mean, nothing really off. Well, so the off season, right? I mean, I was trying to read a little bit, but like Born Sinner, I think was like the previous studio album before this, right?
No, 2014 Forest Hills Drive was after Born Center, and then For Your Eyes Only came after that, and then that other album sucks.
So I misread Wikipedia. So Wikipedia, don't sue me, but it said the first one to have features since Born Center.
Yeah, that is correct.
Now that's something I would be very curious to listen to. Would be just him just going in, right?
We could do 2014.
So. My question,
at some point,
because I make up questions on the spot, would be what's up with these guys, these features? Because I didn't recognize any of them except for 21 Savage. I've heard that name, but like musically, I don't know any of these guys. So are they homies? Are they?
Boss is on his label, right?
Yeah, and J. Cole is very much. He even says it in what is this? I don't remember the song. It'll come to me when I'm talking, but he says something about. In the middle of two generations, I'm Big Bro and Little Bro all at once. And he talks about meeting with 21 Savage and then going and meeting Jay-Z for lunch. And he's very much been a huge champion for 21 Savage, has tried extremely. Now, 21 Savage is successful on his own, but J. Cole is a big fan of trying to prop up younger rappers, less mentioned rappers. So Boz is on 3 of these tracks. Good friend of J. Cole's. And then Black, or Six Lack as people like to call him, is featured is featured a lot on different rap albums. I don't know much about him. And then Lil Baby's the feature king. That guy is featured on everything. And honestly, he rips on his features.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, like his individual albums, not a big fan of, but every time I hear a Lil Baby feature, I'm like, this guy gets it, you know?
Was it Lil Baby or DaBaby that's like, wow, wow, never mind, it's DaBaby.
Yeah,
wow, 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 bitch, I'm DaBaby, which I think is just the coolest little ad-lib ever.
But yeah, that's mainly, I think it's just him trying to give, younger rappers a platform, but he is very much a no-feature guy. Like, 2014 Forest Hills Drives was like the first.
With no features.
Yeah, it was like one of the first hip hop albums to go platinum with no features, or maybe in the first one. But yeah,
and that was like a big thing.
Sounds like a bar. It's
a big thing in like the hip hop community. Is like J. Cole went platinum with no features.
Yeah,
which is really just pretty. And I think he produces a decent amount of his music as well. I don't know all of it, but he definitely produces.
That was one thing I did read, was that he has a hand in it. One way or another, whether he's guiding a producer or he's, hands on. But yeah, like I said, I've of those guys, that are all the controversies around, he's the one that I think I could latch on to, but still we got a ways to go till I admit that.
True.
Very fair.
Also, Trey, KOD is that album. That album does not suck. There are good songs. There are good songs on KOD.
Bad News Bears. It's Billy Bob Thornton in 2007 Bad News Bears.
All right, well, let's get into top tracks. Anthony, lead us off. What do you got?
All right, so for my number 3 track, it is the opening track, and the reason why is because it brought me back with this Rep Your Hood sample. Like I heard the sample in the song, you know, kind of like in the background or like very much being teased, but at the end they let it go and I fucking geeked out. I haven't had a moment like that I probably should have made it in my number 1 track, but really it was just the moment that I had while listening to it, because I'm like, oh shit, I recognize this fucking Lil Jon, you know, and then to let it go felt super fucking cool, and obviously a nod to Atlanta. But 95 South is my number 3 track. Number 2, it's mainly because of the concept of the track, I think. Pride is the Devil. It has a really smooth flow to it. And I like the idea of speaking on how ego and pride is something to be very aware of. You know, it kind of is hindsight's 2020 now, because there's just so much ego in our culture and people are gravitating towards it. And it's like, look, recognize what's happening, but in reality, I love the idea of having a track that really puts it out there. So Pride is the Devil is my number 2 track. My number 1 track is Let Go My Hand, number 8. It's very jazzy, very smooth. Again, I like the concept of growth, you know, throughout that song. It's being highlighted in a lot of different ways. So really, really appreciate that. And there's a line in there, I won't know it off the top of my head, but there's a line where he says, you know, sometimes you listen to it first run through and you got to step back and let it kind of simmer to really get your thoughts together on it. And that's in reality my listening experience. You know, I try to be very mindful of like first run throughs, or you're just getting your feet wet. It might throw you off or it might throw you curveballs, but like going in, art really rewards revisiting, like revisits to a thing, whether it's a painting, whether it's a musician, whether it's whatever you consider art. It's so worth going in again if you're not sure of how you feel about it, or even if you listen to something and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever, go back again and really just with another open mind and let it show you things it didn't show you the first time. So Let Go My Hand is my number 1 track.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do want to point out the lyric in 95 South right at the beginning where he says, "This shit's too easy for me now. Colbin going places back when CDs was around. Look how everybody clapping when your 30-song album do a measly 100,000." That line is so good.
That's hard.
Trey, what do you got?
All right, so I did this a little different than I typically do. I was driving just a second ago, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to list out the songs, and as one goes higher than the next one, I'm going to bump it. You know, so does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah.
It's like
So I was like, I'm gonna,
rating.
so it's like, so I was kind of texting
Real
driving,
time.
which you shouldn't do. Please don't sponsor us. And so this is kind of what I ended up with, was a lot of fucking songs.
Okay.
But for number 3, I have Close, which is one that I never like really listened to too closely in the past. But I really like, you know, J. Cole does this thing where he plays with perspectives a lot, and that's what I like a lot about For Your Eyes Only, is like he's kind of like doing these different like characters almost, but characters not in the way that Tyler the Creator does characters, but more so just like he's talking about like an event or an object, or like for Close specifically, he's talking about like a friend who like got into drugs, or, you know, got into like gang shit. And so he kind of talks from that friend's perspective, then flips it at the end. And I just really like the way that a lot of times, like when rappers use the same word to rhyme over and over again, like it kind of annoys me. But the way that he kind of uses like the different ways to use the word close is really sick. Let's see. After that, I have
That was so just a point, because that's track 11. That thing jumped from the end.
Yeah, you know? That one came in from the top rope, as the kids.
There you go.
They do say that. They do say that.
I said that to my boss earlier yesterday, and she didn't know what it meant, and I felt really silly. All right, the second one that I have is actually My Life with 21 Savage. I'm not the biggest 21 Savage fan. I don't really like triplet rap, but this is just like the way. First off, J. Cole also does like a triplet flow in this, which is really, really sick. And then like the 21 Savage feature is just honestly one of the best verses on the album. Like it's just,
I love it. I love the chorus too. The chorus is great.
Yeah, the chorus is almost like this like soulful, but like new hip hop soulful. What's the fucking line where he's like, hold on, I gotta look it up. Give me a second.
When he played that song at Bonnaroo, 21 Savage was there, and I was like, oh, he's gonna bring 21 Savage out, and he didn't, and I got so upset.
That's a bummer. And I can't find the line, but there's just like really sick 21 Savage line that's in that song. So
how would you give me the cliff notes on how would you describe triplet rap? Because it might be a thing that I'm aware of, just not able to verbalize it.
So it's like da 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 da.
21.
Yeah, I do this and I do this, okay. And then I do another thing. I do another thing. Yeah, like it's like a beat, and then like a line. It's really it's really popular, like with like new hip hop and like really more like almost like TikTok the new age trap shit. Yeah, that I'm just not usually, and that's 21's whole like thing. But shout out to 21 Savage, because honestly, that guy does some really, really cool shit. Like that album. What was that album that we reviewed? What's the name of that album, Blake?
Oh, Her Loss.
No, it wasn't.
We all did do that.
It was something else, but yeah, I like 21 Savage. Anyway, and I was actually thinking of Lil Uzi Vert when I was saying that.
Nice.
And then my number one song is "Pride Is the Devil." Kind of for all the same reasons that Anthony talked about. I think conceptually it's really cool, especially in like hip hop where, you know, being ego focused and boisterous and things of that nature are really celebrated. And so, you know, a lot of times when people zig, J. Cole zags, and just kind of reflecting on like how Pride has, you know, hurt his community, and like I think it's really cool. You know, J. Cole's kind of a really solid middle ground between your more pop focused Drake type of situations and some of your more like introspective or like heady
alien voice
Kendrick type situations.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think this is probably one of his best albums where he balances both of those things really well.
Yeah, nice. On the other end, I do want to say that my favorite 21 Savage line of all time is "Nutted on her face. Her new nickname is Babyface." That's really an inspiring line.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Really quick, honorable mentions for things that also made my list were "Applying Pressure," "Punching the Clock." Punch of the Clock I put like has like that reverse vocal, like a record spinning backwards, and then it has like classic hip hop drums. It kind of sounds like a Vince Staple beat, and then Climb Back. So pretty much the other majority of the album.
Yeah. Okay, so this one I have a caveat for. So number 3 for me is Applying Pressure, and I love his flow on this. It's so direct and in your face. There's no chorus. It's just he goes into it, and I love. There's a number of lines I like, but I really love that instead of capping, why don't you talk about being a broke rapper? That's a perspective I respect. That's a perspective I respect because it's real. What it's like to be nice as fuck and got to stress to pay the bills. That was me in 08, seeing no cake, not even on dates. I celebrated my birth. Just did the mental math and calculated my worth. Shit's crazy. Didn't know I got more M's than a real Slim Shady video. And I love, first off, the Slim Shady reference, but I also love him talking about being broke as fuck and like how hard it was at that point, like even on your birthday, not having money to get cake, right? Like he really came from nothing, you know, and that's not an uncommon story, but I love the way that he talks about it. Now, my caveat for this, which is one that I always bring up, is why does he spend the back half of the song speaking fucking gibberish? It pisses me off.
Yep.
I don't know what he was doing. He could have fit another verse in there, and instead he just starts talking shit like about nothing.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy every time I listen to it. Obviously, I skip it, but in my head, I look down. I'm like, "There's 1 minute and 20 seconds left here.
Right?
Like, you could have done more with this." But I do love the song itself and the concept of it. And then my second one is actually Interlude, which is very brief, but I love its position in the album. I love this beat that is on this song, and the way, man, his flow on Interlude to me is like the perfect flow on the album. He rides this beat that's really relatively unique super well with the repeating hi-hat that's in there, with the drum kick that's in there. And it's just like, I just love it. Like, I love the sound of the song. And just the premise of it is just, you know, growing up in a rough area, right? And being forced in these situations. But I love the end of the song. My homie home, he got out on parole. He sold more Coca-Cola than the soda industry. Summertime bring the coldest winter breeze. Hella blues like the rolling 60s. Christ went to heaven age 33. So did Pimp C and so did Nipsey, who all did go to heaven at age 33. Rest in peace, Nipsey. I fucking love him. So obviously loved the Nipsey shout out, but really, really good song. So again, another one I wish for longer though. And then running theme here, number one, Pride is the Devil. Okay. Best song on the album.
Great song.
And here's the thing, like, my favorite part of the album is the way they feed off each other in the post-chorus. So the too much money to count, what's the amount, checking our balance, I gotta pay a brother to add it up, then pay somebody to make sure whatever amount he's saying, come back it up, got racks, I'm racking up, stacking up, reaching out, acting up, and then Lil Baby comes in, break it down, wait up, and I back it up. Like, I love that transition. Every time I hear it, it just, I get this smile on my face because they fit that so perfectly. And when he did the song at Bonnaroo, he went to that and then he cut the music and said, break it down, wait up, and I back it up. And then it just shut off and he went to the next song. That's so funny. I loved that he threw it in there. But I do have to say, like, I think Lil Baby's verse, like, is really good in the sense that, one, he's rapping his ass off, but he's covering the subject matter in a different way than J. Cole is. Like, he's almost bragging about the money he spent, right? He says, got my feet up, I paid 70 bands to have sex on a jet. And like, but then he's turning around and being like, why did I do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? And then at the end he says, will I be destroyed? Come to me with everything. It's starting to get annoying. I'm addicted to promethazine. It's crazy. Yeah, I know it. All this money coming in and it drives me crazy not to show it. I'll be crazy if I blow it. And I think that's just such a poignant line, especially in hip hop music. Like, you want to show it. You want to tell everybody, like, man, look at all this money I have now. Then in the back of your head, at least in the back of Lil Baby's head, he's like, what if I lose all this money, man? Like, was it worth it in the end?
And it kind of like ties in what J. Cole's whole verses is about too. Is like, this is what's expected of us, and it's not like it's the devil. Like, it's not what we should be doing. Like, have pride in these other things. Don't have pride in the shit you've been told to have pride in because it's fucking worthless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So great fucking song. Love Pride is the Devil.
Is that the first time we've all three had the same top song?
I think so, actually.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm actually shocked.
I mean, I can't think of it.
I'm actually shocked that I really thought the Lil Baby verse was going to turn Anthony off. I thought he was going to be like, nah, this ain't for me. But I'm glad it worked out.
Well, I mean, so I'm pulling hairs trying to figure out what I really like about these songs because, like I said, they're still really fresh. But I didn't try to pay too much attention to the features because, I mean, it would be too distracting, you know, to just say that. But that song's a banger, or at least, you know, parts of it are for sure.
And then, obviously, honorable mentions for me. Again, kind of on Trey's theme. I had 95 South Amari in the climb back. I love the climb back, and I love 95 South. The end, dude, the put your hood up, like, that is just, it gets me so fucking amped. And I love the beginning of the climb back. Are you doing this work to facilitate growth or to become famous? Which is more important, getting or letting go? Such a great start to that song. But yeah, that's what I had for tops. So let's transition to bottoms. Anthony, what do you got?
All right, so similar approach, you know, trying to find things that I wasn't a huge fan of. The third bottom track for me is Close, and this is why. I absolutely cannot stand now in our culture that we utilize this term GOAT so frequently. I'm like over it, beyond over it. Like, if you wanted to call yourself the GOAT, call yourself the greatest of all time. Like, that is the pure reason why I have Close on the bottom, is just because the GOAT reference. I'm just.
But greatest of all time rhymes with something else than GOAT does.
I mean, but like what I'm getting at, I guess,
this is a bit
like
nitpicky for
I'm
you.
just over the goat reference. Like call him the fucking greatest. Like,
are you upset because it's an animal?
No, I'm just upset because it just became a thing in the zeitgeist when like you could just call them the greatest of all time, but like to say that Tom Brady is the GOAT or whoever is the GOAT, like no, just fucking.
So you just don't like abbreviations?
No,
acronyms,
not for greatness.
Yeah,
acronyms. Yeah, not for greatness. No. So that's the reason why. But yeah, it is nitpicky. Number 2 bottom track is Applying Pressure, and it's because of the do it monologue at the end. I just call it the do it monologue.
Fair.
It
Fair
threw me off.
Do it like you do it when you do it.
Yeah,
you gotta do it. You gotta let them know that you do it like you did it.
Yeah, I mean, like no.
No,
Now, if Dave Chappelle gives me the do it monologue, I would be on board, but not in that track and not in that fashion. So
yeah,
Applying Pressure's on there. Number 1 bottom track I have is Amari. And I think it's just the structure of the song. Like there's a middle section that's really smooth and fluid, but these sandwich ends that are really breakbeat, but like not in a way that I enjoy. It just kind of threw me off. It took me a second to really get into that track. And I think it's just because the way it starts and the way it closes. But I really like the middle part. But Amari is top bottom for me.
I love Amari's beat, but one of the moments in that song that I really like is the out of the concrete was a road, the winds was cold, and he does that like ascending thing. Yeah,
another thing that I was trying to figure out too, and there's no feature on that song, but like I don't recognize J. Cole's voice, so like still me trying to learn it, trying to figure out things he does with his voice was it's still, like I said, still a work in progress for me. But I respect it.
Trey?
Okay, so I actually have 95 South as my bottom track.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's just if I'm having to pick one, it's my bottomest bottom. And I told you it was hard to pick. I only picked 2. All right, I just don't like the beat's just a little abrasive, like the which it sounds kind of like a basketball intro. So I kind of feel like that was the vibe they're
That's
going
gonna be his song.
Yeah, right.
2003
like, walkout song. Yeah. But yeah, I do like that, and obviously Lil Jon's sick. That's Lil Jon doing that, right?
Yeah,
I believe it's a sample from him.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
Rep your hood.
Yeah.
Put your hood up.
Yeah.
Put your hood up.
So that's on my bottom, not for the Lil Jon part because that part's sick, but and then 100 mil. So I talked earlier about how I feel like he kind of skirts that line between like Drake and Kendrick, and this is just a little too Drakey, sing-songy, like 100 mil and I still. It sounds like something.
Stop doing the voice, Drake. Stop doing the voice.
Use the voice.
It's just in the back of Trey's head. You have to use it.
The voice. That's the Billy Gesserit of Totally Biased.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, those are my 2 bottom ones.
Nice. Okay, so I had Let Go of My Hand. I really dislike this beat. I really hate it, and I really hate the sing-song thing that J. Cole is doing at the beat. He's like mumble singing, which is like it's like J. Cole's version of mumble rapping. He's like, I'm too good to mumble rap. I'm gonna mumble sing, and it just immediately turns me off every time I hear it. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. And then I had 100 mil for the same reason. I like the verses a lot. But yeah, the chorus, it's too repetitive for me, and it goes on a little bit too long. Like it would have been different had it been, 2 or 3 of them, but it's like 10, so it's just
packed in.
Too much. Yeah. And then last one, Hunger on Hillside, and the only reason it's on there because I really, really like the production, and honestly really like the verses, but like. To me, it doesn't feel like a closing track. Like, I think Close should have been the closing track. And, like, I think that would have... I don't know why those 2 aren't swapped in their positioning. But, yeah, I thought it was kind of weak as a closing track. So, that's what I had. But also, I looked it up. That is a Lil Jon sample. So
thank you.
Shout out to the Lil Jon sample.
How would you pronounce this guy featured on Hungry Hillside? Bass or Bass or Boss?
Boss.
Yeah. Hugo
Okay.
Boss.
Gotcha.
Also, Trey, I feel like the 95 South song should have been up there just for could put an M right on your head, you Luigi brother now.
That is really
gas.
You Luigi brother now. Like, oh shit, I didn't know that.
Shit. So yeah, I thought it was really good. But before we get into ratings, I'm gonna start pulling up some Pitchfork and shit. But any closing thoughts, Anthony? Got anything?
I mean, I'm still on the fence with J. Cole, you know, and in comparison to Drake and Kendrick, where I'm beyond off the fence, right? So like J. Cole, we still got ways to go. So anything coming down the pipeline from him, or did anything recently come out from him?
So
Might Delete Later. It was last year.
Last year, and then pipeline. He has been teasing an album called The Fall Off since 2018, actually maybe before 2018, and he has told everybody and has continued to tell everybody it will be his last album and that it is his greatest creation, and he has adamantly defended that. He even said at one point ending his career with The Fall Off is like Hove dropping Reasonable Doubt last, and Reasonable Doubt is arguably Jay-Z's best album. So he's convinced it's going to be a masterpiece. So if it's not, it's going to be a little embarrassing, but I have utmost faith in him. And there's nobody knows when it's going to come out. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But we still haven't done 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which is his most famous album for sure. So if you haven't listened to that, I wouldn't listen to it, Anthony, until we do it. But we'll have to do it at some point relatively soon.
Okay. Closing thoughts for me is a question for you, Blake, is what's your top 3 J. Cole albums? Where does this rank in those?
I had a epiphany fairly recently.
Was it the Born Center's actually good? Because I had that epiphany not that long ago.
That Born Center is better than 2014 Forest Hills Drive. So I would probably go Born Center. This is really going to piss people off, but the off season and then 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Because fair. The off season is more of like my style of rap music, right? Like it's very much just straight bars. There's not a lot of chorus. There's nice themes to it, and I think he's really. And I really liked Might Delete Later too. Like I thought there were some really great songs on there, but off season in 2004 he'll edge it out for me. Yeah. So
let me give you a fact check. Just because we're almost to 100 episodes, Blake, so you get a pass on this. But episode 4, 2014 Forest Hills Drives, first introduction of Rides or Dies segment, and Trey Seville watches pee-pee videos. The description. So, episode 4, we did that.
I think I know who wrote that description. I don't think it was Blake, right?
But maybe put that on the list for a revisit at some point too, because it's been 3 years or 4 years since then.
100%. All right, so rankings. Do we want to guess Rolling Stone out of 5?
3.5.
I'll say 2.5.
3.5.
Let's go. I never get it right. Let's fucking go.
J. Cole prizes benign autobiography over social commentary on the offseason. The rapper's compositions are nimble, but his stories feel safe. And then Pitchfork out of 10. What do you got?
I'm going to say they gave it a 6 because fuck them.
I'll say 7.
6.5.
Okay, split it.
So close. On J. Cole's refreshing and lively new album, the rapper relaxes his grip around the mic and thrives when he's collaborating, not when he's making deadly serious legacy raps, which I disagree with. But that's what we always do with Pitchfork, is disagree.
Interesting.
All right, so ratings. Anthony, what do you got?
Well, unfortunately, I agree with Pitchfork on this one because I also gave him a 6.5 out of 10. You know, 6.5 with room to grow. I feel like I said probably the similar thing with Born Center too, but I don't know how often I would go back to this. Probably never, just to be honest. But I mean, I appreciate the artwork and the sounds and the words that are coming into my eardrums. So 6.5.
I feel that, Trey.
You ever think how weird it is? You have to blink all the time.
Yeah.
If only we didn't.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Be a frog.
Open your eyes. So I give it a 9. As far as where it is in J. Cole's like top 3 though, I don't know if it cracks it. I really like Might Delete Later. I think Might Delete Later is like my hot pick number 3.
That's fair.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's really fucking good.
And then 3 is For Your Eyes Only, which I think is more just a personal thing. And then 2 is 2014.
Wait, so what was number 1?
Number 1 was sorry, I said that in a weird order.
Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes,
Yeah.
and then 2 is 2014. 3 is Might Delete Later. This is probably
Those keeping notes.
4. Then Born Sinner. Then whatever the fuck KOL is.
KOD. Thank you very much.
I was just thinking of Kings of Leon. You know.
All right.
More acronyms over here.
Yeah. I have it at a 9 as well. Think I've said enough. Think it's great. And honestly, I think that J. Cole has gotten unnecessary hate for the entirety of his career on the internet. I saw a woman call him a diet misogynist one time. And that pissed me off.
Man,
so
been holding on to that. Huh?
Yeah, I think about it a lot. And yeah, people think that he's like a fake deep guy, and I don't find him a fake deep guy. I find him a real deep guy, and I think he's intelligent. And I think his raps represent that. So if you hate J. Cole, maybe stop being a dumb, stupid idiot, and you wouldn't have this problem. So
damn,
yeah,
just coming at Anthony like that.
No, I would.
He likes it.
Well, I would agree that J. Cole doesn't come off as a fake deep guy to me. Everything comes off as genuine. It's just do I like it a lot or do I like it a little?
Yeah.
So it's just I would agree with that.
He's also a North Carolina guy, and like as a former North Carolina guy, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that hits your roots.
Yep,
really hard.
My 3-year.
I thought he was from Atlanta. He's not from Atlanta.
No, he's from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Forest Hills Drives is in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yeah, you should watch. There's a documentary. Is it about Forest Hills Drive or?
Yeah, but he plays the album live in the documentary,
right.
So
it's really cool. You should watch.
Maybe we could do, honestly, when we do it again, we should do a double feature like we did for Balloonerism and do the album. Yeah, bam, nice. Look at me right off the cuff with that one.
Creativity director.
All right. All right, so that was the off season. If you haven't listened, please go listen. Now let's get into Rides or Die. So who wants to start us off?
I'll go.
All right.
So my Rides or Dies is the legendary artist Herbie Hancock, which admittedly I had not listened to any of his music before. And the thing that brought me to this song was a commercial. I never watched commercials, but it was on just in the background.
I got an interesting tidbit for this, by the way, but keep going.
I think it's an Airbnb commercial or a Verbo commercial, but or whatever the Airbnbs are called now. But the song's called Watermelon Man. I heard this fucking groove in the background, and then it built to a beat, and I was like, this is fucking gangster. What is this? So I Shazammed it. Shazam, give us a sponsor. And this song is like from the 70s. Now, admittedly, this track is long as fuck, and I wish it was shorter, but like the groove is so fucking crunchy that I was like, this is amazing. And I was just shocked that I hadn't heard it or been shown this song before, so I brought it out here for you guys. So
real quick, Trey, do you probably don't, but this song, I'm surprised Anthony doesn't know. This song is in a movie, is where I first heard it. Does anybody have any idea what movie this is?
Have I seen the movie?
I guess.
I'm 90% sure you are.
Well, I guess Ocean's 11.
No.
Did the movie come out between the years of 1993 and 2025?
It's relatively recent.
Okay.
Within the last 10 years.
Is the movie The Batman?
No.
Damn it. I was about to be shocked. I was like, wait.
It is in mid-90s. It is
really?
It's the scene where they go to the house party. When they first show up to the house party and they're doing the cuts of them around the house, Watermelon Man is playing. And like every time the beat hits, it cuts to like a different scene of them. So you should go back and rewatch. But that's where I first heard it, and I added it to a playlist then because I fucking loved it. So it's a hard rise. And when I heard it on the commercial, I was like, no fucking way this song is coming back around because I listened to it religiously after I saw mid-90s. But yeah, great. This song is funky as fuck. It's very cool.
Yeah, I need to rewatch. I've only seen mid-90s in the theaters. I never watched it again, and I figured we bring it here again at some point. So that'll be probably when I rewatch it. But I loved it. So I would love to watch it again.
Same.
Trey,
what'd you think?
Sorry, I'm like deliriously tired. I feel high as shit, honestly. And I'm not. I'm not high.
Me neither, not yet.
This is definitely rides for me. But you have a couple fun facts about the song. First off, not about the song, about Herbie Hancock. Did you know that Katie Johnson's dad is Herbie Hancock's tour manager?
Katie Johnson's dad is his tour manager, or
like
was
right,
it
right now? Yeah.
That's sick as fuck. And I didn't even realize Herbie Hancock is still playing.
Yeah, he was James Taylor's tour manager for a really long time, and I don't think he plays enough to make it happen. So that's cool. That is cool. This song went to Who Sampled because I've heard the sample a bunch. This song's been sampled over 100 times.
I'm sure.
That does not surprise me.
Anything that really noticeable? That we would be like, oh shit.
No, I kind of looked through them and I didn't really see anything that super pops off the page. I mean, there's a Madonna song, an LL Cool J song, Jay Dilla and Motor City 19, so maybe that track.
Nice.
A Rhapsody track, that really good Rhapsody album. But okay, and then my third fact, I'm forgetting. Right? Oh. So I've been listening to Miles Davis late at night when I read because I'm pretentious like that now, and it's
reading and listening to Miles Davis on vinyl, right?
But yes, well, no, but I did buy the vinyl, but I got to it is a whole story.
I got you.
Anyway, but Herbie Hancock, it plays on Kind of Blue, that really famous Miles Davis album.
Yeah,
and is was a part of his camaraderie of folks. So Herbie Hancock is a goat. Is a goat.
Trey just does that thing every night so he can tell people he does it. He only gets through a page a night, but he still gets to say it.
Yep,
so
exactly.
that's why he does it.
Very nice. Trey, do you remember we ate pizza one night and I can't remember who it was. When we ate pizza, somebody gave me some vinyl. Do you remember that?
Oh, at
Miles Davis,
Uncle G's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That kind of blue. Yeah, that's going to be my gift to you, Trey. So next time I see you,
Megan Shook gave you that. I told her I was like, you should not paint this, and then we looked at it and it was super scratch, and I was like, he should paint this.
It's not bad. No, it's not bad.
Is it not?
No, it's clean. It's
oh really?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I got you.
Nice. Trey, what did you bring for the folks?
First off, I just need to tell you something that from a text message before we go into any of the Rider guys. Katie Kaz Marcos just texted me. She was like, "Is Pretty Likes hip hop? I'm in an argument," and I was like, "Yes, 100%." And she was like, "Thank you." And then she said, "I'm arguing this with the ferocity that is reminiscent of Blake Poljasic."
Look at that. So whoever's on the other end is getting
it. Fuck yeah! Please tell her I said I'm
gonna be I just read that live on my podcast with you.
Right.
I brought you a song, and the song that I brought you was
my face.
Leaving on a Jet Plane, originally by John Denver, but this is a cover from My Morning Jacket from a John Denver tribute album. I brought it to you because my dad used to sing me this song when I was a kid, but then I hadn't heard this cover before. And you know that American Dad bit about how Jim James has the voice of an angel?
Blake knows it very well.
Yeah, I know. This is the most angelic sounding I feel like his voice has ever sounded. It just sounds literally like manna from heaven.
True.
So I thought you would think it's interesting. I'm also weaning off of the bluegrass. This is more folk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious to hear how you guys feel about this one.
I mean, come on. Obviously, it's a rides. It's Jim James. It's the greatest voice of the last 7,000 years. You can't deny that. And the song in itself is great. But man, I could listen to Jim James cover fucking J. Cole, and that shit would hit. There's no way this dies. So very peaceful, very angelic, very nice come down. So yeah, hard rides.
Yeah, it definitely rides. Not necessarily because Jim James supposedly has the voice of an angel, but because it's a great fucking song.
It's a great song,
great rendition of the song, and also glad because you sent it to us with a link to this whole John Denver tribute album. So there's a lot of names that I can't wait to listen to see how they did. But definitely rides.
Nice.
It's a banger.
Hell yeah. I brought this track for Trey. So it's been a while. It's been a while since we revisited Big X the Plug. And my hip hop mix on Spotify, which I gotta shout out Spotify for their daily mixes. They fucking kill it with the daily mixes. My hip hop mix every day is just shit I haven't heard, shit I have heard. I listen to it constantly. And Texas by Big X the Plug is on my hip hop mix today, and I think yesterday as well. And man, what a great Texas style hip hop song. And let me tell you something. Big X the Plug is gonna let you know you don't fucking mess with Texas. All right, you don't come down here. He knew what Pushin' P was before Gunna even said it. You know, Pimp C died a legend. And shout out Big X the Plug. This song, the beat, Big X, it's all fucking great. So I had to bring it. Trey, what'd you think?
Well, okay, so listen, I'm tired of talking about bad stuff that happens to me on the podcast, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing that happened. My grandmother passed away on Sunday.
Sorry.
But the thing is, she was from Texas. So when you play this, I was like driving home. I'm actually putting together like a mix for like the slideshow for the service. And I'm like, what if I just slip this in at the end? Like, what if I just... Because, I mean, it's like, because I'm from Texas. I'm like, that would be hype. Like, in a different environment, it would be very hype. And my grandmother she's an amazing woman, and she was very prideful about being from Texas, as all people from Texas are.
Hell yeah.
It was just hard rides. Also, just regardless of all that, this song slaps. Big X is the plug.
He's working his way up there as my most, like, I've listened to him a lot. So big rides. Anthony,
not for me. It dies for me, but I mean, I just it's just a vibe that I can't get onto. I can respect the fusion. You know, Shabuzi had some fusion with that too. So I can respect that, but no, I'm never listening to this again, probably.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, well, the movie this week was The Italian Job. It is a heist movie. It is a Trey pick. Tell us a little bit about why you picked The Italian Job, Trey.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I kind of forgot that it was my movie pick. I know it's shocking, and I had to think of it on the fly. I used to, until like I probably like was like 24 or so, I used to say this is my favorite movie of all time. I like grew up watching this movie. I think it's awesome. Marky Mark just crushes it. Charlize Theron is beautiful. You know, there's no better villain in the world than Edward Norton. And then you got fucking what's his name before he got really big, Jason Statham, just being like actually cool.
Yeah,
and like,
which is a rarity for his career.
That's
let's
what I'm
be honest.
saying. Yeah, but it's like
he's got some good shit.
Agree to disagree on that point. But the point is, he's cool in that moment. And Mos Def is in it. Like, the cast is killer. The writing's good. I think it holds up. The action scenes are great, and also like it made Mini Cooper's badass, which seems like an impossible. It seems like they centered the entirety of the movie on like, hey, do you think we could make Mini Coopers cool? Like, yeah, let's fucking load them up with gold and drive them through a sewer.
Yeah.
Great idea, bro. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What did y'all think?
I gotta say, first off,
your first watch, right, Blake?
First watch, and goddamn, Edward Norton rocks, man. That was my main takeaway. He's so good. Like, he's so good. He's so great in Fight Club. Like, such an underused, underrated actor. God, he fucking rocks. And I gotta say, man, this heist movie has everything. It's got boats chases. It's got safe cracking. It's got the feat of German engineering, the Mini Cooper. It's got helicopters. It's got guns.
I think they're from Britain, but either way, you're right.
It's got Seth Green, who I also love.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Also created Napster.
Yeah.
There's a line that Seth Green has in the movie, and he sounds just like Chris.
Yeah.
I meant to send it to you, but I forgot.
It's so good, and like there's hacking in it. It has everything. There's double crosses. There's a twist at the end. Like, what a perfectly executed heist movie, and what a great pick. It had been. I haven't rated it on Letterboxd. I'm gonna go do that right now. I was so impressed, man. I really enjoyed it. I really loved, like, I don't know, there's great suspense moments in it. I love the scene where she goes to his house, right? And you're kind of like dancing with, is she going to get caught? Is he going to figure it out? And I thought it was really good. And I love a good heist movie. And this is a unique heist movie in the sense that, like, they're not robbing a bank, right? Or a safe. Like, the Italian Job, which, by the way, they say the name of the movie in the movie, which makes the movie good. But The Italian Job is the beginning of the movie. It's the heist at the beginning, and then the whole movie is everything that comes after that. So I thought that was a really unique perspective, and 10 out of 10, really great. Good pick.
Now this is actually a remake of the original Italian Job. I've not seen it. Trey, have you seen it?
I have not. But I would watch it.
I would imagine it has to be good to kind of spear this creation. But yeah, this is a banger of a movie. And when this came out, the Italian Job and the score, another heist movie with Edward Norton is fucking amazing. I used to watch those regularly. I mean, I had to show off the old DVD of the Italian Job.
Nice.
And you know, when I open this up, I don't know if this will translate. I didn't test it, but can you see the watermark on the DVD right around here?
No.
I think he is. See the letter?
Oh, movie gallery.
Yeah, so this is an old movie gallery.
Hell yeah.
In the stash. So banger of a film. Solid little soundtrack too. California Soul with the little
Money.
Pink Floyd cover sandwich. Velvet Revolver does that cover. So rest in peace, Scott Weiland. But solid movie for sure. Great pick.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. And Anthony, let's just go ahead and drop it now. Are you sticking with a heist movie for your movie? Because you do have movie pick.
I got a movie. Trey, you got the album pick. Are you prepared for that? Okay. So,
I am ready. I came ready.
All right. So my heist movie is, I have it on DVD right here. I'm going to show it to you in a second. But this was my first, and I didn't know this at the time, but my first Spike Lee movie. So the movie is going to be Inside Man. And if you haven't seen it, strap in, because
also have not seen it.
Hell yeah!
Also have not seen it.
Anthony, maybe we could work out what we could watch the movie together.
Hey.
I might be a little busy this weekend, but maybe Friday night. I don't know.
I'll be ready. I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait.
We can stream you in. I don't know.
All right. Fuck yeah.
Maybe not this week, but maybe 1 week soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I won't set up a camera though, because then if I take my phone out for half a second because I get a notification, Anthony will yell at me. Yeah. Yeah.
The only time Anthony's okay with the shot caller.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I agree with that. I support that.
All right, Trey, what do you got for album?
All right. So here's the deal. I'm gonna ask a lot. This is a 3-hour endeavor.
Excuse the fuck out of me?
We don't have to do it, but I've talked about it before, and I've always wanted to do it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for us to do the Phil and Friends show from April 19th or April 16th, 1999. It was the first. It was with Trey Anastasio and Paige McConnell. It's 3 hours long. We could, if you prefer, we could cut it.
You have set that
we could cut it down to set 2.
Okay,
that cuts it down to just an hour and a half. And that has the songs I actually really would prefer to talk about. But it's the first time that members of Fish
over there.
It's the first time that members of Fish ever played with members of the Grateful Dead, because the Fish from Vermont tried to kind of distance themselves from the Dead and establish their own thing, and they felt like had been long enough, and they really wanted to play with Phil. So it's Trey and Phil, and then Steve Kimmick. And then I think I forget who plays drums. John Molo's on drums. Do you want to do it or not? If not, we can save it for another time, because I'm going to do it at some point.
All right, let's do it. Let's do set 2.
You love Fish and the Grateful Dead.
I do, but that's just 3 hours is a lot. Like, Anthony trying to get me to watch a 3-hour movie that's not Avatar is like, I don't know about all that.
All right. Well, yeah. So
say the date again, Trey.
4/16/99. I'll send y'all the link. It's on YouTube in very solid quality, so you don't have to hunt it down or anything like that.
There's footage. There's footage of that?
It's fully filmed. Which, I mean, you can watch it if you want. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But I will send it in our chat. But I think you're going to be extremely happy with this choice. It is some of my favorite Grateful Dead. Like, that's not the actual Dead. And Trey Anastasio is in peak fucking, like, 99 was Trey's best year by and far. And Steve Kimmick isn't exactly a noob on guitar either.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he's a badass. Yeah.
Kimmock,
So, or Kimmock, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, definitely will be fun. Before we go, right. Katie has asked me to ask you guys, is Pretty Lights hip hop? Simple yes or no answer will do. We don't have time to debate it. I'm going to fall asleep in 5 seconds.
No.
Okay. You're so
yes.
wrong. Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, maybe we'll do a whole episode on that.
Yeah. Well, wait, stay on real quick, Trey. Sorry, I know you want to go to sleep. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. Hope you had fun. Goodbye.
Yeah. Peace.